Hi everyone, it's Sarah here from Peaceful Pensieve. So today I'm just going to do a video just to kind of walk through my planner lineup for the second half of kind of 2019. So I feel a bit like I kind of thought I had my planner stuff sorted, and then I started getting a bit confused and questioning a few things, and I think anybody who's been following me on Instagram probably kind of seen my journey a bit, and kind of the way I've changed things up. So I think a lot of people have been doing like one book July, and I feel like I'm kind of doing a bit of the opposite of this. I've kind of a lot of the time I've kind of done everything in one planner, and I've kind of separated things out a little bit. So yeah, I'll talk a bit more about that, and I'm going to kind of show you my setup and show you kind of a bit of a comparison between kind of Stalogy and then Nanami Cafe Note as well. I feel like it's going to be kind of quite informal. You might want to get like a cup of tea or coffee because it might be kind of a bit of a chatty video. But I just kind of wanted to talk through with you what I've been doing. So first of all, I'll just talk you through the notebooks I've got. So these are all by Gillio Firenze. In my opinion, the most amazing planners. You just can't beat them, and I can't seem to like steer away from Giglio's. Like now I've had them, the quality is just incredible. But the thing with Giglio's is they kind of prioritize making amazing planners rather than kind of speed, I guess. So they'll restock kind of every now and again. They won't always have stock of things, but the quality speaks for itself. You know, they're worth the wait. So here I've got a B6 Appunto. This is in the aubergine. This is the croc leather. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's very like kind of velvety, smooth. It's beautiful. Then this is an A6 Appunto. This is the Apoca leather, and this is in the anthracite colour. So it's a very kind of dark grey. Again, absolutely stunning. And then I've got a A6 Appunto. This is the trifold design, and this is in undyed. So again, the Apoca leather, absolutely beautiful. This is kind of really kind of patinas and changes colour and gets marks and things because it's completely like untreated leather. So this is amazing as well, and they all smell incredible. So yeah, so they're kind of the notebooks I've got. So what I was doing kind of from about May, I've been using this as my kind of everything, I guess. Using it to, well, the idea was to plan and journal, just draw, etc. But really I've been more planning in it because I felt like with taking it everywhere, when I was going to journal, I was kind of a bit, I guess, hesitant because I was worried about who would see what, and I knew I was holding back, so it wasn't really working for a journal as well. But I was using it as my planner. I was taking it to work. I used to put like an extra notebook in when I was at work, so I'd have work and home. I've got some other videos kind of more in depth on my setup, but yeah, it was basically kind of, it looks plain now because I've moved stuff over, but that was kind of full of cards and things, and it was just, yeah, really used for everything. The only thing was, it's quite heavy to kind of carry around all the time. And I do think as well, like I absolutely love the aubergine, love the croc leather. It's so beautiful. But in terms of kind of how it ages and things, it's very hard wearing. So it's very durable. But I've seen some kind of really older ones, and they've kind of, I don't know, maybe possibly look slightly faded or kind of marks on the corners, things like that, which like for some people will really love that look, but I just love how it looks now, and I know that it would stay like this for a long time, but that also maybe not necessarily for me because I really don't baby my planners. Like I throw them in my bag, like they don't really get like looked after, and whereas the like Apoca leather just patinas and looks kind of better and better, and you can kind of rub out scratches, etc. I was kind of more worried about this one. I wanted this to kind of stay like as it is, and as beautiful as it is now. So that was another thing that was worrying me. So it was, I love the space and everything, but it's quite heavy, a bit worried about the leather. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I should try like a smaller size. So the A6 is the next size down. But a lot of people on Instagram I felt like were actually the ones that were moving between A6 and B6 were actually all saying that they preferred the B6. And people might have moved to A6 and then moved back to B6, or moved from A6 to B6 and been like, I feel so much more comfortable. So I was a bit like, oh, I'm not really quite sure what to do. I don't want to kind of regret my decision. So I thought, right, what I'll do is I'll just buy a Stalogy, which is this notebook, and I'll just buy it. So this is the B6 size. I'll just buy an A6 size, and then I'll just use both for a bit and just try out the size. Not worry about a cover, because I knew it would take me kind of a long time to get another Giglio, because obviously they don't have them all in stock all the time, and if I wanted a colour that I wanted, that might take a little bit longer to find. So yeah, so I ordered an A6 Stalogy. I ordered it off Amazon. It was about £13 something, so it's quite cheap on Amazon, but it does take a lot longer to come. So it said it was going to come in August. So that was fine. So I kind of went on the marketplace where you can get kind of pre-loved Gillios, and kind of put that I was looking for an Appunto. And then whilst I was on there, I saw that somebody had said that they had an Appunto in anthracite, and like, I just love this colour. Like, as well, they go so nicely together, and that did actually matter to me as well. Like, I wanted them to go together well. So I just jumped at the chance. Like, I thought, I've got to get it. Like, it's a colour that I really like. I don't know when they're going to come back in stock. Sometimes they sell out so quickly you don't get a chance to get the colour you want anyway. So I was thinking, just get it. So I got it. The lady who sold me it, she was absolutely lovely. It came really super fast, but then obviously I was like, oh, I really want to set it up, because as soon as the cover's here, you want your notebook. I can't wait until August. I'm just not that patient. So what I did was I went on to, from the advice of somebody on the Giglio fan group on Facebook, I went on to a website called, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, so sorry, but Mail UK or Mailux or something like that. I'll link it below. And it's all in Dutch, so I did actually use Google Translate to place my order, which was very interesting. And then I did email the lady afterwards, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I only speak English, and I'm not quite sure if it's gone through or what's happened. And she was lovely, and she was like, no, your order's gone through, it's all fine. And she basically said that if next time I could just email her my order. So anybody that doesn't speak Dutch, you can email your order, which is amazing. So I ordered an Nanami cafe note from her, and literally came in 2 days. So it came yesterday. So I've been kind of setting it up since then. And yeah, so I'll talk you through a bit, I guess, the difference between the Nanami and the Stalogy, because actually in the end I'm really, really pleased that I ended up getting the Nanami. And I'll talk you through my reasons why for that in a bit. But that's kind of my journey to kind of get here. So that's why this is now set up. So what I'm using them for. So what I'm going to be doing is I am going to actually be using this as a journal. I'm going to be using it as a journal, sketchbook, like mindful colouring, which I want to do more of, sketching, journaling, like put some quotes here. That's what I'm going to use this for. I think it's a perfect size for that. I think because I'm going to be keeping it the majority of the time at home, I'm going to feel much more comfortable kind of journaling and writing down what I want to write, rather than feeling quite self-conscious about it or worried that somebody's going to see it. So that's my plan for that. So I've got journal, everyday carry, planner, so bullet journal, everything in here. So I will talk you through that. And then some of you who already watched my videos will have seen that I use my trifold, basically kind of like a photo album. So I've got so many pictures that are just left on my phone that I don't do anything with, and I really wanted to create a photo album so I can look back on things that I've done and be like, oh, that was so fun, etc, etc. So I've actually got a HP sprocket, and I've been like printing out pictures and putting them in, and I'm really, really enjoying it so far. So I'm going to definitely keep doing this. So this is just basically a photo album scrapbook to kind of look back through. So it'll be really nice when it's full. I just want to keep doing this, and I'm using my Stalogy for this. So I just want to keep doing this over and over. So I'll be using the Stalogy that's come anyway once this one gets full up. So yeah, so that's kind of my lineup. That's what I'm planning. So journal, planner, photo album, scrapbook type thing. So I still kind of am planning in one book, but I've just got a separate book for my journal and things like that. So yeah, so what I'll do now is I'll just talk you through a bit like the difference between the Stalogy and the Nanami before I gotta go into my setup of my A6. So I'll just take my Stalogy out of this. But actually, before I do, just to show you that this is very stuffable, this trifold. So if you like to have multiple books, go for it. This, not so much. It's a lot more compact. The book kind of just fits in. I think I'll need to train it a bit, because sometimes I have to train the pen loop out a bit. But I don't think I'd be able to put like another book in for work. I think it would be too stuffed. So it's great for how compact it is. But this is more of a stuffable one. However, I don't know what release this was from. So whether Giglio have released another one that's slightly wider in the meantime, I'm not sure. But as this is, yeah, this is more compact and this is more stuffable. But yeah, so the Stalogy and the Cafe Note, they're the same size notebooks. So they're both the A6 notebooks. So the Stalogy is obviously black on the outside, and the Nanami is kind of like a dark brown, like a reddish brown. So I do prefer the black cover. I think it probably looks nicer inside notebooks. But I actually really like the inside of the Cafe Note. Really like it. So neither of them are numbered, so you do have to number your pages. Just kind of got some here, just right at the bottom. It really doesn't take very long. I just do a few every now and again. But yeah, so this is the inside. So as you can see, the grids are different sizes. So the Cafe Note grid is actually quite a bit smaller than the Stalogy. So there are 37 across on here, and this one is, I wrote it down so I won't forget. Sorry, 37 down, 37 squares, 26, and then 19 squares across on the Stalogy, and 26 across on here. So what that means is, when you're doing like your monthly in an A6, for example, you can fit it all down there, the complete month. Whereas when you're doing it in the Stalogy, you'd have to kind of go on to the next page because there wouldn't be enough squares. So obviously with the Nanami, you can either kind of write smaller, or you could like, you know, miss a line and write on the next line down if you wanted a bit more space. But I do think that this kind of tricks me a little bit into feeling like I've got more space, because I've got smaller grid squares. I've got kind of, I guess, more space to write, it feels a bit like. So I feel like this is actually feels bigger than this, even though they're exactly the same size. But yeah, I actually really like that. I think the paper is like a similar thickness. You get 365 pages in this, and I think 400 in the Nanami Cafe Note, so you get a few more pages. I think the paper on this has got a bit more of a coating on. So you have to wait, just bear in mind you might have to wait slightly longer for ink to dry, but it's been pretty much all right. It's just, yeah, making sure that you give it a couple of seconds just to make sure it's completely dry. So yeah, so that's kind of the difference between the two notebooks. So I prefer the outside of the Stalogy, but I actually really prefer the inside of the Cafe Note. So I kind of feel like it was a little bit meant to be that I managed to get my cover quicker, and you know, my Stalogy was going to take a little while to come, because I'm really pleased that I'm now able to use this notebook, definitely. So yeah. Okay, so we've talked through a bit of my lineup. I've talked through a bit of the difference between those two notebooks, which I feel like would have been helpful for me when I was deciding, because I was a bit kind of unsure about which one to go for. And I'll just talk you through now my kind of setup of this, because this is obviously newly set up. So inside the A6 Appunto, you have your two bookmarks, as you have with all your Appuntos, which I love because they have a little round thing in the same colour as your notebook. So like, obviously with my aubergine, they're the aubergine croc leather. Oh, they're just so cute. I love the bookmarks. You get 4 card slots at the side, which is different to the B6, where you have 6 card slots, but they both have a little pocket at the front here. And then you've got a pocket here. So I just have like, this is just a memento. So save the date for my wedding, some passport photos, a business card. And then I have in here, so I've got some memo notes. These are from the journal shop by Iconic. And what I do with these is taken it off, haven't I? So I clip this to the front of my notebook, so it's really easily accessible. And I do my shopping list. This is my food shop, and this is things that I need to buy within the next few days, kind of that's not food. The reason this one's down here is because we shop at Aldi, and I know that they only sell these in Tesco, so I know I'll need to go to a different shop for that. So if, like, my husband says he's never been to Tesco, do I need anything, it's easy for me to see. Yes, because it's at the bottom of my list. And it's really handy because you go to the shop, you can just take it off and you've got your list there. So that's what I use those for. So yeah, I've got some pink ones and some white and grey. And then I have a writing board. This has just got some post-it notes stuck onto it. But this is from the Traveller's Notebook company. This was from Etsy. It's really handy. It's great as well to use as a ruler. So you can put it behind your pages to write on it, obviously without the sticky notes on. And you can also use it as a ruler. So yeah, so that's really, really handy. Then there's a pocket here, which I don't have anything on at the moment. And a zip, so I keep some like money in here, just some notes and page flags from Etsy. I think they're from the TT store on Etsy. And then back pocket. I love the big back pocket. So just some like appointment letters, things like that. And then my beautiful pouches from Planner Life to Love on Etsy. No, Planner Life to Love on Instagram, sorry. She's Monkey Muse on Etsy. But they are lovely. So I've got receipts one and a stickers one. She does like them basically however you want. So you can have a different, like, I picked the clear, you can have a different colour material. I think you can have like hollow, jelly, like there's loads of different ones. Different fonts on the vinyl, different colours of vinyl. They're so nice. So I keep all my important receipts that I need to keep or that I still need to add to expenses in here. Keep my stickers in here. So these are like my functional stickers. So these are from Cloth and Paper. These are from Peaceful Mind Designs. I think they were from PlannerCon, so I don't know where they're actually from. Yeah, Peaceful Mind Designs again. And I use these really functionally in my planner, so I've talked about it before, but I can show you again as I do my flip through. So yeah, I absolutely love these pouches. Went for the like clear, so I think it's really minimal, but I do have some like hollow ones as well, which are also very, very nice. So yeah, they just slot in the back, my other stuff. And then this is the Giglio pen, and the refill that I put in that is the Parker Quink Flow Gel refill. So it's just a black gel refill. Okay, so now we'll get actually to the inside. So, got my index. So this is basically, I'm using kind of the bullet journal method from Ryder Carroll. And I would say he's got a book out. And I'd say even if you think you know about bullet journaling, it's an amazing book. I would definitely read it. It just talks a bit more about the method, why it works, but also it talks about kind of other things as well, and just like improving on yourself, and it's really amazing. So I definitely would recommend it. So yeah, starts with the index, and this is like your contents page. You can kind of come back and look at where things are and turn to the different pages. And the really good thing about bullet journaling for me is that you can just write whatever you want on the next page. So I know some people don't like that, and they like to kind of section their planner out, and some people do that with like post-it notes and things like that. I think SM Plans kind of sections hers out if you want to have a look at some of her videos. But for me, I find that I start to confuse myself, and I'm like, oh, where should I put that? Or I start kind of thinking that like I might avoid writing something down because I'm not sure where to write it, or just things like that. So I'm not actually using it as well as I could be because I'm not actually writing things down that I should be writing down. So for me, doing things on the next available page is key. That is what I find is super helpful, and that is how I plan best. So yeah, so I really use my index and I really like it. First page is my key, so you can see kind of what I use for a task, an event, a note. I like this one where if I've got more to write, I can put across through it. It's actually a note to journal about. I think that's going to be really good in terms of, obviously now I'm going to be using this for my journal. I can look back at my thoughts over the day and look at kind of what I want to journal about, because I think sometimes I get a bit stuck. I'm like, oh, what should I write? Whereas stuff might have popped into my head through the day that I've forgotten about, and I'm not necessarily going to have this with me, But I can use this and put in, you know, what I want to journal about, and then I can journal about it when I get home. So yeah, I think that would be really useful for me, and I'm going to really try and use that. I have my monthly, so I don't use the future log in the way that Ryder uses it, because I find that people that know about bullet journal know more about what I'm talking about, but you have like it splitting to sections for your different month, and you put like what's coming up, but because you're just writing as you go along, all the dates are in like the wrong order and things like that, and I find it really difficult to figure out when I'm free, when I'm not. So what I do is I write out my monthlies for all of the months, and I find that a lot easier. So this is kind of my future log and current log, etc. calendar monthly. So yeah, I just have like the days of the week, the dates. I put a line at the end of the weekend, so I can kind of separate the weeks out a bit easier. And then these are like my tasks for that month. So it's tasks that I don't necessarily want to get done like a certain day or a certain week, but it's kind of tasks I want to get done at some point during this month. And every morning I look at my monthly log. I look and see if there's anything I can transfer over. I look at kind of what I'm doing. And that's kind of how it works. Every day I look at my monthly log, look at my daily log, kind of get myself ready for the day. So as I said, I've got kind of all the months in here. But I've also got my dot stickers, which is what I talked to you a bit about earlier. And basically the way I use these is kind of for future planning. So I volunteer on a Wednesday, so I use a sticker on these dates because it's really far in advance that they get booked in. And basically it means if anything changes, I can just move the sticker around. So I'm not like writing stuff in, scribbling stuff out, and it's all kind of getting lost in the writing. It also kind of draws my eye to it. So even though I might have a lot written down here, I can see immediately which days I'm volunteering on, which I find really useful. So I think it would be good for somebody, you know, if you did shift work or something like that, you might have a certain colour for morning shift, certain colour for an evening shift, certain colour for an afternoon shift, that kind of thing. And you'd immediately be able to see kind of what you were doing without kind of loads and loads of writing everywhere. So I think it's a really useful like technique to use for people that are quite busy as well as people that are kind of planning things quite far in advance. So I really, really like that. I think I'm going to use some more colours for different things, like when I've got toil or annual leave, things like that. I'm going to kind of have a look at that. So next I've got my books to read and my book log. So I'm trying to read 40 books in this year. So that's why I've got kind of my book log down there. Last year I was trying to read 30 books that year, and I managed to do it, so I was pleased with myself. So I'm trying 40 this year, so we'll see how that goes. And then every now and again, like when I see my friends and stuff, they're like, oh, have you read this book? Have you read that book? So I keep that there, so I've got like, it helps me remember if I come to finish a book and I want to read another one. I'm like, oh, what's on my list of good books? So yeah, so when I read the bullet journal method, I made some notes on it. And so I've got these in here. I really like to look back on them, so I felt this is really important to kind of copy over. Daily, monthly and yearly routines. One of my key pages, I think. So basically, I've written down what I need to do on a daily basis, a monthly basis and a yearly basis. I think that like I come particularly to the month, so I'll come to August, and I might think, oh, actually, what am I doing for August? Like, what do I need to make sure that I'm ready? So I know I need to check my future log, I need to check my important dates, I need to check my birthdays, I need to migrate my monthly tasks, and I can do all those things and make sure that I've kind of done them. So I know that I'm kind of, once I've done those, I'm ready for the month ahead. So that's really, really handy. So I really, really like that page. I haven't copied over my birthdays yet, so I'll just show you on my old bullet journal, because I really like the way these are set out. So this is how I would set up my birthdays. So I have all the months across the top and their names down the side, and then say it gets to August, I can just like look down at August and see whose birthday it is, and then I would write it into my actual August calendar so that I've got their birthday kind of written down there. So I really like that way of setting it out, so I've still got to move that over into here. Then I have my important dates, so these are kind of yearly things, so like cats vaccinations, like MOT, those kind of things for my car. So again, that's something I check every month. So in August I'll realise my house insurance is due, so either I'll put that onto my August monthly, or I might put it onto a daily and be like, do this, and then I know I need to do it. so then I can get that sorted. So that makes me feel a lot better that I've got sight of those tasks as well. And they'll transfer over to next year, so I can just literally transfer over this table, which is really easy. My daily gratitude and wins log. So this is about kind of writing down something or multiple things every day that I'm either grateful for or something that I feel like has been a win, because I think it's really important, because it helps you have kind of a bit more of a positive mindset and also appreciate like what you're doing and noticing the little things as well. So I really want to get better at this, because I feel like I'm not as good at filling this out. I need to keep reminding myself of my daily routine, and maybe kind of at the end of the day, also throughout the day, kind of make sure I'm really filling this out. These are really important. So these are things that I took from the bullet journal method book. So it's about, we can control how we respond to what happens. So we might not be able to have control over an actual event, but we can control how we respond to it. And I want to make sure that I'm responding to things in an intentional way rather than reacting to things in an instinctual way. And then I've kind of thought through what I wanted to say. I've got my point across. I'm not feeling bad for maybe saying something that I didn't mean, that was said in an emotional time, that kind of thing. So I really want to keep those in there to kind of look back on. So I've got my to buy list. So obviously I spoke to you about my to buy thing at the front of my planner. So this is stuff that I need to buy within the next few days. Whereas this is more things that I want to buy more for myself. So like I might get to a payday and I might think, oh, like I'll treat myself to one of the things on here, something like that. So when I think of something that I want, I can jot it down here rather than thinking, oh, I need to buy it because I forget about it or something like that. It just helps me to kind of budget a bit better, because before I'd just like think, oh, I really want that, and I just buy it. But now I can think, oh, I'll write it down and I might be able to buy it on payday or the next payday or whatever. Then I've got cleaning. So this is more things that are like not like date specific. So obviously we have our cleaning that we do like on a daily basis, or different things we'll do at different times, but this needs to be done at some point. So like organise the desk in the third bedroom, those kind of things. So I can kind of, if I've got a bit of time, look at this and be like, oh yeah, actually today I'll make sure I clean out the microwave or something like that. And then I can just, if I see things that need to be done, I can just write them down here. So another page of the bullet journal method. So actually this is good, because what I wanted to show you is, obviously I've written out some of the pages of the bullet journal method in here. And then I had another page to write, but it's quite a few pages down. So what I will actually do is I will put a slash and then I'll put 27. So I know that I don't have to go back to my index. I know that if I want to carry on reading, the next bit is on page 27. And then here I'll put a slash and I'll put 18. So I know that the page that I did before on this was page 18. So it's called threading, and it's where you link your pages within your bullet journal. So I really like that. So I'll definitely, still need to fill that out, but I'll be doing that. And then obviously in my index, I've got, so you can always look back at your index, and I've got the 3 pages that's on anyway, so 17 to 18, and then I've written some more in 27, and like I add another one if I wrote more at a different time. So it's just, again, it's not restricting yourself. If you think of anything else to do with something, or you've got to think, oh, I'm writing this down, how many pages is it going to take? Try and leave that amount of pages, and then if you don't leave the right pages, do you know what I mean? It's just so much easier, I find. So yeah. Daily reflection. This again is something that I want to do more often. I really don't do this enough, and sometimes I get a bit confused about what I'm doing, because I think I've not really got in the habit of doing this. So this is kind of what Ryder Carroll recommends for kind of your daily reflection. So I've written that down so I can kind of look back at it and think, right, how, when I'm coming to reflect on things, what kind of questions do I need to ask myself and things like that. So PlannerCon Europe was just absolutely incredible. Anybody that is thinking of going next time, they haven't announced another date yet, but when they do, I would just go. Really, really, really good. So as well, when I went to PlannerCon Europe, I was in rings, and I'd been in rings for quite a while, and now I've actually got 3 Appunto, so I've gone totally back to notebooks. So I blame Teresa for that one. But yeah, it just kind of refocused me. I felt like I'd kind of gone, I don't know, not gone off planning, but I'd kind of got myself a bit confused. I wasn't really planning very well. I was kind of missing things, wasn't really motivated. And this kind of just really, like, I guess, like, invigorated me. Like, I was just like, yes, like, got the motivation back, and got excited about planning again. And I think the talk from Ryder Carroll again was really inspiring, so that obviously helped with me kind of deciding back to bullet journaling, which I do feel really comfortable in. And the bullet journal is actually the longest I've been in a planner, was when I previously did a bullet journal, so I know it works for me. So yeah, it was just that, having that reminder, and I want to keep like all the notes that I made there so I can look back on. So that's why I transferred those over, because I think it was really important. Like, we had a talk by Filofax, and they talked about kind of people who planner shame and things like that, and how when you've got a planner you can make it your own, it's your space, you're taking time out for yourself when you're kind of planning and writing in your planner and journaling, etc. It's personal. And they talked a bit about how to choose your planner, so kind of thinking about what you want to get from it, what do you want it to do for you, who you are affect how you use your planner. So obviously I am somebody that does carry my planner around with me all the time, so actually I need a planner that's easy to write, and it's flexible, I can just write on the next page, it's small enough to be portable, etc, etc. So it's thinking about all of those things when you're kind of deciding you know, what you want out of your planner and what planner you want to use. So yeah, so I've got some really, really good stuff from there. So I really want to transfer that over. Brain dump page. So these are key, I think. I do one every month, and just it's so easy to just jot stuff down. If you're having, you know, phone conversations, something you need to remember, and it's just like a little thing that I know that I can go back to my brain dump and that's where it's going to be. So that's really useful. And then meal ideas. So sometimes I feel like I lose like a bit of inspiration, or coming home from work and I've no idea what to cook, and then just end up getting a takeaway. So I'm trying to be a bit more healthy. So only put things down in here when it's something that we've had and we really, really like, and it's just a bit of to get some more ideas. Also got some like tapas ideas, so sometimes we have people over, so every time we've kind of done tapas, we've put down like what things were really nice, so we can do that again. So we've got that on there. Weight log, again, as I said, I'm trying to be a bit more healthy, and I'm always somebody that if I do lose any weight, it's always quite a slow thing, so it helps me to kind of write it down, so I think, you know, I can see if there are any changes, and then that's a bit of motivation for me. And then a July brain dump. So I haven't put in anything that I'm going to be doing like this week, any like to-do list yet, because literally, as I said, I've just finished setting this up this morning, but I'll just kind of show you what my to-do list normally looks like. So they're kind of like this, so I just put like the dots for tasks and then transfer them over. I haven't transferred anything over since Thursday, whoops. So I need to write out a list today, and see what I can get ticked off, and then I put like little notes with there just with the lines. If I had any events, I could put them in as circles. So yeah, that's how I kind of set that out in my daily. I also use a little bit of a tracker at the beginning of the week, so if I've done gym or exercise and if we've cooked, I need to finish filling that out for that week, but I normally am quite good at doing it on the day, and then that just helps me to see what I've done in terms of exercise and cooking for that week, which I'm trying to track, and it also encourages me to do exercise, because I know that I'm going to write it down, and it kind of makes me a bit more accountable. So yeah, that's kind of what I do with my daily and weekly planning, but there's, as I said, there's more in-depth flip through of this bullet journal on my previous videos, so check that out if you want to. I feel like that's kind of everything really. Obviously I'll put my Instagram below, so if you want to kind of continue follow my journey, or follow my journey if you don't follow me already, and I can let you know kind of how it goes with the A6 size. I do need to fiddle around with this a bit, I think, to make it like go in the best, so that it's, oh, there you go, shut properly, and train this pen loop out a little bit. But yeah, I love it. I feel like I'm making the right decision for me. I watched a Instagram video from Letters from Sierra yesterday, and she was talking about knowing your why for changing. So I know, as long as you know your why, you can kind of change planners. So I know my whys. I know that this is, although I like the space, it's too heavy for me at the moment. The leather, I don't feel completely comfortable, just like throwing it around in my bag as I do with the Apoca leather. Do you know what I mean? I've got kind of my reasons for why I wanted to change. And if I decide to change back, I'll have my reasons for why I want to change back as well. But I'm still going to be using all my planners. And that's, I think, the key thing for me. I didn't want to ever just not use this, because it's just beautiful. Like, I love it. And obviously I already had what I was doing with my trifold anyway. So yeah, this is going to be kind of my, as I said, my journal, and I've got my bullet journal, everyday carry. That's a bit lighter and a different kind of leather, and then I've got my scrapbook in my trifold. So yeah, if you've got kind of any questions or anything about anything I've said, just let me know. Put me on Instagram. I'll tag the I'll put the link to the shop that I bought my cafe note from as well. And yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you to all my Instagram followers. Like, you're all amazing, so supportive. I love all my messages and stuff. Talking about planners is like my favourite thing, so I love that. And all my subscribers on YouTube as well. Honestly, your support means so much, so it's very, very appreciated. So yeah, thank you for watching.